Hey Vinyl community, I just thought I'd come and show you a few albums today. Some upbeat stuff, a bit of a mix really. Stuff that I've been enjoying lately, so maybe you'll find something of interest and yeah, let me know. So yeah, first one, I was in a bit of an African mood and I went with Oriental Brothers International to kick us off. And this is an original Nigerian copy now. This is interesting, this is on the Aphrodisia label. I'll show you the label in fact. Now it says it was pressed here in the UK, but this is like an original Nigerian copy, so I don't know if they just pressed them here for export and they never actually were released here and they only came out there. But yeah, there's the great label. Fantastic music. I have various African albums and some say pressed in Nigeria, and they're clearly, well, I know it did come from Nigeria, so it is an original Nigerian album, and this one did come from Nigeria. Obviously originally it was pressed here, so it's interesting that it's an original Nigerian album in the sense that it's come from all the way from Nigeria, but in the sense it's English because it was made here originally, so it's kind of been all over the place. But anyway, great music. You know, if you're into that kind of Afrobeat, you know, high life, Nigerian, beautiful, upbeat, life-affirming, fun music, then look no further than Oriental Brothers International. Interesting name, because they're clearly not Oriental. Maybe they're international, maybe they're brothers, I don't even know. But either way, it's great music. And there they are on the back. Good musicians, just fun upbeat stuff, yeah, check them out, brilliant. And I listened to another one of theirs that I'm lucky to have. Interesting cover there, looks a bit like a jazz album in a way to me. But it's most definitely not jazz, it's that kind of same sort of high life Afrobeat type stuff. I can't get enough of this stuff really. Quite expensive some of it, but you know, well worth it if you've got the money. A local record shop recently got in a load of original Nigerian albums, which I've mentioned before I think, and I bought as many as I could afford at the time. Unfortunately now that shop is closed indefinitely. Hopefully they'll reopen. But yeah, a lot of the time you'll find these albums and they're pretty trashed because God knows what they've seen and what they've been through. I don't know, wars or what. But you know, amazing music. It's amazing to think that people in England and around the world were just having all this mainstream stuff come out, and Africa had its whole own scene going, you know, with all this amazing music at the time. You know, once you go down that rabbit hole, you can find so much amazing stuff. It's like, wow, you know, just truly magical stuff, and yeah, I love it. So yeah, Oriental Brothers International, check them out if you don't know them. And then I needed a bit of reggae, you know, dark times, a bit of upbeat music. Desmond Dekker on Trojan, this is a great compilation of his early stuff. Just wonderful stuff. 007, Sabotage, just every song on here is brilliant, you know. Just if you like reggae and somehow you never managed to check out Desmond Dekker, then ASAP you need to. Fantastic. About as good as reggae gets, other than Bob Marley and maybe Dennis Brown, but yeah, you know what I mean, great stuff. Okay, this is a really cool one. LA Getaway. Now it's Joel Scott Hill, who I believe sang with Canned Heat for a while. I've seen footage of him on YouTube playing with Canned Heat and it was great. I remember knowing about him from that. And also it's got Johnny Barbata and Chris Etheridge, who I believe was in the Flying Burrito Brothers, is that right? But yeah, this is a great album. Joel Scott Hill sings really well, really soulful. Great guitar player as well, really like bluesy, soulful, Americana, upbeat. Did I say soulful? I did. I'm going to say it again, just soulful. Really great album. If you like that kind of 70s, that vibe that I've just mentioned, then check it out because this is excellent stuff. If you like your Americana stuff as well, you know, check it out. It's really good. One of these kind of lost gems, really. Not one I heard anyone talk about, but it's great. And it's on Atco, so it's a big label, you know. So they obviously had, you know, you don't get stuff released on a big label unless you're really good at that time, and this is really good. So, and while I'm sure you can find it for cheap, I found it for cheap. This is an original American copy with the cut side there. So, yeah, great. Check it out. If you do know that one, let me know. Relatively Clean Rivers. Now don't pass out, this isn't an original. If you know anything about this album, the originals go for a lot of money, maybe in a mint one, maybe $1,000 or something crazy like that. Because originally this was a private press, never came out on a label officially. And yeah, it's a shame it didn't because it's really, really good, and there's a reason the original copies of this sell for a lot of money because this is fantastic. If you like the Grateful Dead, if you like that kind of 70s mellow vibe, a bit psyche, a bit chilled out, just lovely music, check this one out. This is really good. The Grateful Dead, I mean, it doesn't sound like the Grateful Dead, but it's got that similar vibe to it. If they had come out with this, then no one would have batted an eyelid in the sense of quality because this is excellent all the way through. This should have been released on a major, in my opinion. It's that good, and it's a real shame it wasn't because I think if it had been, it would be regarded as somewhat of a classic. And I think this came out a little bit late. I think this was later 70s. This sounds a very sort of early 70s sound. It's got that psych element to it, and I think that perhaps didn't work in their favour at the time because people had moved on a bit by that point. But yeah, if you're into that kind of vibe, check it out because this is excellent. And look at that cover, how cool is that? It has a bit of a story inside there. Great album. Okay, this is a random one. I did a video recently on my auction finds, and this is one of those. Hugo Montenegro, love theme from The Godfather. Now this to me looks like a schlocky, terrible album that I'd never pick up in a million years normally, but I listened to it just because why not try it out, and there's bits on this that are actually really cool. There's a track on here, I think it was Pavon, I don't know how you say it, and it had like this like psyche and this like psyche guitar and like this cool drum break, and I was like, wow, like this is, I could see this like being something that you know, Crate Diggers would sample or something. They probably have, and they do like Norwegian Wood on here, Beatles, and like Baby Elephant Walk, but and it's got like animal sounds, like it's very kind of like Hugo Montenegro takes acid and makes a funky jam album. It's kind of weird but cool at the same time, and easy listening and exotica, like it's on acid or something. It's mad in a way, and it's really good sound quality, and it's actually a quadraphonic press, but it still sounded good on stereo. I can imagine it was probably quite interesting in quadraphonic, but yeah, if you find it for like $1 or £1 or something somewhere, and you're wanting kind of just a bit of a curiosity, something a bit fun, you know, check it out. Oh yeah, I played this one the other day. This was absolutely lovely. Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald. Ella and Louis. 50s original pressing, UK pressing on HMV. I found this in a charity shop for nothing. I think it was 50p. And man, what an album this is. The sound quality of the pressing, the beautiful, beautiful music. I mean, for 50p, I did really well, really well there. Just an absolutely beautiful album. If you've never heard it somehow, check it out because it's gorgeous all the way through. I mean, what do you expect? Ella Fitzgerald, one of the most beautiful female singers of all time. Louis Armstrong, you know, that classic, amazing voice, and one of the best trumpet players of all time together, just making magic, and it's just gorgeous. Everything from the cover to the music on this one is beautiful, classic, wonderful. I listened to this one yesterday, the Beach Boys, Holland. I love this album. I know this one's got somewhat of a cult following. This is like later period Beach Boys. This is great. You know, this is when Brian Wilson kind of was stepping away a bit. I think he was probably mentally ill and messed up from drugs at this point, and the other brothers kind of stepped forward a little bit, and this is actually really cool. This is the one with Blondie Chaplin on it, and Ricky Fattar composed some of this, lyricist. But yeah, great album. Really interesting moments on this, quite ahead of its time in places. I can see how this was influential on like 90s groups and people. Like, the sounds are ahead of their time at some points on this. It's really quite cool, really cool. Has a great vibe to it, this album. Upbeat, uplifting, but interesting and soul-soothing to me, this one. It's great. I believe they recorded it in Holland, and that's why it's called Holland. I think it's wonderful personally. Dennis Wilson sings a few, Only With You, Steamboat. We composed those. I can't quite remember what he sang, but he sings on this. Blondie Chaplin opens it up with Sail On Sailor. Just a wonderful album. Check it out. It's not like Pet Sounds Beach Boys, you know, it's a bit more forward, I guess, in the sense that it's not 60s, but anyway, yeah. I listened to this one. This was lovely. I did my cleaning to this one yesterday. This is great. Look at that cover, just wonderful. Classic. I love that kind of classic border there at the top. Like, reminds me of the Beatles, you know. On HMV, lovely. Just lovely stuff. You know, this isn't like, collectors don't go mad over this stuff. You can find this stuff for nothing because it's not like John Coltrane or like super avant-garde, and it's not super edgy and cool, but it's just lovely music, you know, simple as that, you know. Don't be afraid of being uncool. If it's beautiful music, it's beautiful music, you know. Harry Edison, Buck Clayton, Sweetson Edison, just wonderful, beautiful music. If you ever see this one, check it out, lovely. Bit more jazz here. Dizzy Gillespie, duets with Sonny Rollins and Sonny Stitt, original UK pressing from the 50s. And a great big tear across the middle there. I found this one at a boot sale for nothing, and I couldn't believe it because I was like, wow, you never find original jazz at a boot sale. So yeah, this is great. Sonny Stitt, I find hit or miss really. Some of his stuff is cheesy and crap, and some of it's amazing, and this is one of the falls into the latter category, you know, it's great. Sonny Rollins is great. Not all of his stuff is, but this is good. Dizzy Gillespie is outstanding on this. Some of Dizzy stuff is a bit cheesy and a bit whatever, but this is he really lets loose on this one. This is great. So yeah, check it out if you like jazz. What else have I got here? Oh yeah, this was wonderful. Alice Coltrane with Pharoah Sanders, Journey into Now this is where I mispronounce. Satchidananda. He did it. Yeah, this is absolutely beautiful. I don't think I've shown this one before, hopefully not. This is absolutely gorgeous. If you just want to relax and let a beautiful wave of wonderful music wash over you, this is the album for that, if you're into jazz. This is gorgeous. You know, Pharoah Sanders can get a bit out there. He kind of restrains it a little bit more on this one. Gets a little bit out there on the second side, but overall he's a bit more restrained compared to some of his stuff. And this is just gorgeous music, really beautiful. You know, Alice Coltrane was married to John Coltrane, obviously, and she's become quite a cult figure in recent years. Quite collectible original albums are, and for good reason. You know, beautiful stuff. So yeah, check it out if you don't know it. Wonderful. This is a nice one. John Mayer with Joe Harriott. Indo-jazz fusions. This is from the 60s when jazz was kind of mixing with Indian music. Before the Beatles, I might add. I believe, anyway. What's this, like 65, 66 or something? I think it was going on in jazz before the Beatles, anyway, and in classical. But anyway, this is lovely. Kind of like it's titled, a fusion of jazz and classical and Indian music, and it's just lovely, really. I've listened to this before and kind of thought it's all right because I was wanting more of a jazzy album. But if you just listen to it for what it is, it's wonderful. A real mix, and it's just gorgeous. The sitar on this is lovely. I know there was a couple of these. There's one with another one with kind of them on the cover, the two guys, Joe Harriott, I believe. But yeah, a double quintet from the 60s. Check it out, lovely. I listened to this one earlier. I need to kind of let off some steam. Jamal. I think this is like 1970. I found this at a local record shop for nothing because he didn't realise what it was. And this is actually quite collectible. Really cool album if you're into like your 70s heavy rock. This one's pretty cool. Tobacco Road, you know, kind of standard boring stuff. Tobacco Road, Long Tall Sally, but they do it really well. They give it their own heavy kind of. They just got a great groove to them, you know. Really cool. If you're into just, you know, nothing groundbreaking, but just real cool, heavy 70s rock. It's an original American copy, or maybe it's Canadian. I can't remember now, but either way, it's original. That I found for like, I think it was like £4 or £5. I got this for. In the cheap bin, and it's worth more than that, so that was really cool and rather rare. So yeah, not one I've ever seen here in England other than the time I found it, so yeah, great. And then finishing up, I had a bit of Elvis Presley, original copy of his first album from the 50s, original UK copy on HMV. I won this on eBay years and years ago, probably 7 years ago maybe, before vinyl was so incredibly collectible as it is now on the HMV label. I got this for nothing at the time. You know, it's not in the best shape, but it plays fine and sounds good overall. And it's kind of got that vintage sound anyway. You know, the recordings aren't the greatest because it's his early stuff anyway, so it sounds fine. And just to have an original copy is really cool. You know, classic. Say what you want about Elvis, but this album is fantastic. And yeah, obviously. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you're all doing okay out there. I know it's pretty crazy, obviously, and I'm just doing my best to keep my brain mentally occupied. I am still working. I'm lucky to still be in a job. I can work from home on my laptop, yeah, I've just had 4 days off because of Easter weekend, and I spent that drawing. You know, I've had a long break from drawing, and I'm back to it now, and I'm really enjoying doing that again. And reading and listening to records and watching films and just keeping my mind occupied, really, and just trying to ride it out as everybody else is. So, yeah, I hope you're all doing okay. And leave some comments. Subscribe if you've made it this far and you're not subscribed. Please subscribe, because I've not got many, and I think it would make me want to make videos a bit more often if I had more subscribers, you know, to be brutally honest. You know, like the video if you do like it. If you enjoy my videos, please do like them, because I believe that helps with the algorithms or whatever YouTube does to make your videos more popular. I don't know. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm talking to myself a little bit, and I know I'm not, but I do appreciate the people that do watch. I know there's a few of you out there that do watch until the end, and I do appreciate that. And yeah, until next time, cheers.